Thank you very much, Professor. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is George Sampa. I'm from Zambia and a certified prosthetist by profession. We indeed welcome the GATE initiative to the Southern African region. And just like Dr. Kasnabi said that you need to have our governments implementing this thing on their own. We still feel that WHO should have center stage in the implementation aspect of the GATE, because we've seen from experience, if it doesn't come from you, it's very difficult to push, especially by profession. I know you, you have that experience as well. You really need to participate. I would like to introduce the ISPO organization, which we are using as an avenue to reach out to government in terms of rehabilitation in general and prosthetics and orthotics in particular. What is ISPO? This is an association which was formed 2 years ago with the remit of sharing experiences and best practices, and to influence governments in the region to participate in the prosthetics and orthotic aspect. Yes, this is a regional platform to share experiences and best practices in prosthetics and orthotic solutions. And there is a need for a cluster of practitioners in the southern region. And we intend to spur visibility from our governments. When we start voicing out, we want them to give us that visibility, which has been lacking in the past. There is an article on SADC protocols on health, the Article 15. This Article 15 doesn't have work streams, and it hasn't been actualized. So we've been trying to work with the SADC Secretariat in order to use it as a conduit to influence our governments in the region. But you know, politics is always a challenge. We've tried our best, but we still call upon WHO to influence certain issues like this. This protocol has been there since 1999, but up to today, there are no work streams. What is the current situation obtaining in the SADC region? The UNHCR-RPD has already been talked about, and most of our countries, yes, are signatories to the UNHCR-RPD. And others are ratifying as I'm talking. And most countries have a policy related to disability and rehabilitation. And we have functional prosthetics and orthotics units in most of these countries. And other specialties in physio, occupational therapy, speech, and audiology. Service delivery in general. This morning, Mr. Claude Tadef talked about access to assistive health devices, which is still a challenge up to today. Why do I say so? Yes, it could be pro bono. Is it true that it's free? No. Someone is always picking up the cost of that device. Out of pocket, yes, others are using that modality in order to access that device. Medical insurance, all those are modalities that are being used. But the reality on the ground is that these devices are difficult to get for our brothers and sisters with challenges. The other issue is mostly to do with centralized services. The services are still clogged in the cities. The rustic areas do not have these services. So these people have to travel long distances to access this, and it becomes a challenge to them. Services are static. There is outreach in certain countries, as well as mobile services to reach out to those who cannot afford to travel to access these services. We have huge challenges to deliver these services. Data issues is a big challenge. I think the health management services in our ministries aren't doing so much to help us get this data, which can be used for planning and strategic planning. We still have challenges in human resource, in all specialties. Recruitment, retention are equally challenges. It's either positions are there, but professionals are not there. Professionals could be there, but positions are not there. These are the challenges we are encountering. Then limited resources to P&O. We all know the competing needs that are there. Primary health care is always given that priority. When it comes to these other rehabilitative services, it's always a challenge. You have to fight in order to access those funds. The issue which we've debated in the past 2 days, it could also relate to representation at police level. Again, that increases visibility of the profession. When you are in service delivery, it's very difficult to push your agenda up there. But if you are sitting with policy makers, it's easy to get what you want. Inadequate infrastructure. We are still grappling with the issues of infrastructure. And lack of collaboration among stakeholders, and lack of regional accepted appropriate minimum standards. I hope now we shall get the standards. I heard the lady who did present this morning talking about the standards from ISPO. I think those will help us come up with our own standards to suit the environment we are operating in. Challenges are still there in policy and strategies. We formulate very comprehensive policies, but implementation is always a challenge. Then we have problems related to fragmentation in services and in organizations for persons with disability, because these are supposed to be partners in implementing all these things, but they are so fragmented such that you cannot achieve the intended goal. What are our defined actions? ISPO region has been collaborating with governments in driving the process through country representatives, and we can bear witness things are happening in some of the countries that, like I mentioned in the area statement on representation at police level, some countries have started getting people into the ministry to help them implement these rehabilitative challenges. We are working on collecting data in the region and information regarding prevalence. And we are trying to establish uniform standards, just like I've mentioned, in curriculum. Oh, sorry, this is in curriculum and aligned with ISPO guidelines. This is the training part and education. We had extensive discussions in the past 2 days. The training institutions are now seeing the need to start harmonizing the curriculums and the accreditation aspect to ISPO. We are trying to look at developing minimum standards and ensure that most of our practitioners have got a job description. And we're ensuring that the selection of assistive devices is appropriate and suitable. Not the technology where we say that this technology belongs to Africa. Like others have said, technology should be shared. We Africans as well need the technology that is needed. Because we say the poorest of the poor should get this type of technology. But you are cutting out those who can afford, who've got the demand for a prosthesis of their choice. So if we say this is the technology suitable for the African setup, I think that is a very big challenge. The role of, yes, sir. The role of WHO, I'm going back to what I've said. There is need to create awareness in the political world in order for them to get what we are talking about here. Implementation agenda for governments. WHO should play center stage. ISPO should equally play center stage. We would like to get all SADC and other organizations to recognize this GATE initiative, but there are equally cost implications, right? There will be need for support from this organization I'm mentioning. I thank you for this opportunity.